Hi, thank you for joining me today. I am going to show you how to put numbers in standard form that are already in scientific notation. Let's get started. Our first example is 8 times 10 squared. Now, by the time you get into junior high, we usually stop using the multiplication symbol and we start using just a little dot like that. That is because we don't want you to get confused with the multiplication symbol and the variable x. So from now on, I am just going to be using a dot like this that represents multiplication. So we have our first number that is valued in between 1 and 10, and then it's multiplied by a number 10 to a certain power, this time the power 2. So if you think about it, this squared here means 10 times 10. And 10 times 10 is 100. So if we take 8 and we multiply it by 100, I would want you to think that that would be 800, okay? A really easy way to do this, though, is to take our first number right here, and then the decimal in the number 8 is secretly right here after it, and we are going to take that decimal and move it to the right this many times. So we would move it 1, 2, and we'd fill in these empty places with 0. And we would also get 800 that way. Let's do another one. Here is our next example. We have 2.56 or 2 56 multiplied by 10 to the 5th power. So just like last time, I want you to take this first number and just rewrite it below. So 2.56. And then this little exponent above the 10, that is how many times we're going to move our decimal to the right. And that is because whenever you multiply by 10, it gets 10 times greater and our decimal ends up moving to the right. So we're going to take it and move once, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we fill in the extra spots with 0, okay? You could kind of think of this when we had 2.56. If we take that number and multiply it by 10, it becomes 25.6. When we multiply it by 10 again, it becomes 256, and so on and so forth. Our last step right here is to just fill in commas when needed. So we would need one right here. Every 3 place values, you need a comma, and we'd end with 256,000. Let's try one more like that. Here we have 8.3 or 8 3/10 times 10 to the 3rd power. So we're going to take our first number and rewrite it. And this number right up here, the exponent, is how many times we move our decimal to the right side. Moving your decimal to the right side makes the number larger. And if we're going to keep multiplying by 10, if we're going to multiply by 10 3 times, our number is definitely going to become larger. 1, 2, 3. Fill in with zeros, and we end up with 8,300. Now, every so often, you will see that this exponent up here is not a positive number, it's actually a negative number. Let me show you what I mean. This time, we have the number 6.3 or 6 3/10 times 10 to the negative 2 power. Okay, so whenever you have a negative exponent, that actually means divide. So we would actually take this number 6.3, and instead of multiplying, we would actually divide it by 10 twice. And whenever you divide a number by 10, you can easily take the decimal and move it 2 spots to the left. That would make our number smaller. So I'm going to follow the same pattern, and I'm going to rewrite that first number. And then I'm going to take this decimal and move it 2 spots to the left. 1, 2. My decimal is here, and this is my new number, 63 thousandths. We cannot forget about that 0 there. I really want you to remember that negative exponents mean divide. That will help you when you get into the exponent rules of pre-algebra. Let's keep going. Here is our last example, 7.6 times 10 to the negative 5th power. We're going to rewrite that first number, and we're going to take our decimal and move it 5 spots to the left because of this negative sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to fill in all these extra spots with 0. So this is our new number. This number and this number are equivalent to each other. This is just written in standard form, and this is written in scientific notation. I hope that helped. Don't forget that a negative exponent really means divide. I promise that will help you later. But otherwise, don't forget to subscribe below and have a great day.